It's not good for your soul to be in that situation. Any last foreign or more distant place then before we pack it in?
Forest Lake, Minnesota.
Where?
Forest Lake, Minnesota.
Oh, you're killing us. Let's get her.
Yosemite.
Where?
Yosemite, going through the tunnel and then
Oh,
you see
Yosemite, yeah.
the
All right, let's go back to Forest Lake, Minnesota. We all know Yosemite, so we can. What's about Forest Lake, Minnesota?
It's a little town in Minnesota.
Yeah.
There's a lake there, and it's real quiet.
You got loons there?
There's loons there.
Yeah, loons. There's nothing. How many have heard a loon? Once you've heard a loon, you will never forget the sound of a loon. That's all. Go somewhere. That's why I asked her, because go anywhere in the north, whether it's Minnesota, Maine, or whatever, on lakes, inland lakes with freshwater lakes, you'll find loons. I can tell you, man, you'll never forget the sound of the loon.
So the mosquitoes should be there, safer.
Well, we can skip the mosquitoes. All right, so that's what Lawrence is talking about. You see, a place that is just good for your soul to be there. I went there. He was asked, by the way, about this place that he's talking about. That's all I can tell you. I didn't expect that it would be that way, but it was. So you see now Lawrence has got you into this, you see? Despite yourself saying, oh, this is a cornball. No, you see, he's getting to you. Let's let him do more work here. So they go down into this tomb, and they're surprisingly big and handsome, these homes of the dead, just like houses. And then he goes on the next paragraph, not like Rome, where the slaves were always burned, presumably, whereas at Chirvetri, the masters were laid full length, sometimes in great stone sarcophagi, and so on. And then you can read that yourself. The whole thing suggests Egypt, but on the whole, here all is plain, simple, not like pretentious pyramids or tombs of the pharaoh. No decoration, and here it is. Here it is again. This is what we're looking for in his book. This is the religion we're speaking of the phallic consciousness, as he calls it. Easy, natural proportions, whose beauty one hardly notices, that comes so naturally, physically. It's the natural beauty of proportion of the phallic consciousness, contrasted with the more studied or ecstatic proportion of the mental or spiritual consciousness we are all so accustomed to. He said we are accustomed to. You see, what's he attacking here? You wouldn't know it, but he's actually attacking Nietzsche. Nietzsche wrote a book called Birth of Tragedy, where he talked about the Apollonian and the Dionysiac consciousnesses. And he compared the world. The Apollonian, Apollo, was the intellectual consciousness. The Dionysiac was the frenzied sort of consciousness. For Lawrence, that's all, pardon me for being crude, I don't have a lot of time here today, Greek bullshit. You know, this is something even more important to him. It's the phallic consciousness that someone like Nietzsche, as he sees it, wouldn't have even known what it was. So he's picking up, but he's competing. So I have to move along. There are the writings on the wall, on the burial niches, little sentences freely written in red paint or black, you'll find where I am, or scratched in the stucco. We can read the debonair inscriptions and so on and so forth. And in one place here, he's talking about the next page, I guess it is 19 or so, 18 or 19. There are helmets, swords, spears, shoes, belts, necklaces. This is what's written. This is what's painted on the carvings and so on, and on the walls. And then the sacred drinking bowl, the scepter, the dog who is man's guardian even on the death journey, the two lions that stand by the gateway of life and death. And here he goes again. The triton, or the merman, and the goose, the bird that swims on the waters and thrusts its head deep into the flood of the beginning and the end. Now, where does he come up with a sentence like that? How does he know what a goose symbolizes? He didn't learn it at any university lecture, I can tell you that. And he may not even be true, but he intuits it. He sees what they felt, and he puts it like that. Look, would you see a goose like that? He says the goose, and all through this essay is like that. The goose, and I hope some of you have read this essay for yourself. How many have read it? Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can pick this stuff out as easily as I can do it for you, but with your reading it and my picking it out, I think a double whammy there, you'll see the stuff that we're looking for, which is why we have Jen here tonight, because we want her to be an expert on this material too. See? And the goose, the bird that swims on the waters and thrusts its head deep into the flood at the beginning and the end. I don't know where he got that. I'll go along. Fine, if that's what it is, okay, you got me, Lawrence. I'll take your word for it, because I couldn't describe it any better than you. So if you see it, that's cool. The tombs are so easy and friendly. See, we're not afraid of death here. We're not trying to get some punishment, underworld, all this kind of stuff. We're not trying to, overcome death and all this. No, it's all friendly, easy. One doesn't feel oppressed. It must be partly owing here again, another thing, the peculiar charm of natural proportion, which is in all, not like the Greeks, all impressive, mathematically perfect. I mean,